The taxpayer watchdog group White Coat Waste Project files a complaint with the National Institutes of Health after uncovering a nonprofit has repeatedly violated federal law by not publicly disclosing how much taxpayer funding is sent to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That nonprofit is EcoHealth Alliance, and White Coat Waste is calling for an investigation into that organization and for EcoHealth to be defunded. Here to discuss these developments further is the Vice President of Advocacy and Public Policy at White Coat Waste, Justin Goodman. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having us.
So based on your complaint, it appears that the EcoHealth Alliance has not been transparent. What does this say about public trust in our federal government and the National Institutes of Health, especially since that money is being sent to the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
Yeah, that's a great question. Last year, about a year ago, we were the first group to uncover that the National Institutes of Health, through EcoHealth Alliance, was sending tax dollars to the Wuhan Institute of Virology for treacherous coronavirus experiments where they were capturing bats in southern China, bringing them back to the lab, and then tinkering with these viruses, potentially causing the pandemic, according to experts in the intelligence community and scientists. What's worse is that we've now discovered that EcoHealth Alliance was violating federal law for years by not publicly disclosing how much taxpayer money it was actually sending to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So unless you were paying very, very close attention, it was difficult, if not impossible, to know that our tax dollars were being sent to this lab in Wuhan that is now suspected of causing the pandemic.
Absolutely. And of course, a lot of people have expressed outrage at China because they initially covered up the virus and they downplayed it before it spread into this worldwide pandemic. Now, White Coat Waste would like to see EcoHealth Alliance defunded. What will it take for that request to come to fruition?
So unfortunately, we filed a complaint with the National Institutes of Health regarding these transparency violations at EcoHealth. Unfortunately, the current law that requires a disclosure does not include penalties. However, that does not mean we can't hold them accountable. First of all, Senator Joni Ernst has now sent a letter to the Health and Human Services Inspector General asking for an investigation of the violations by EcoHealth. And Congressman Guy Reschenthaler from Pennsylvania has also filed a bill to completely defund EcoHealth Alliance. We've also been working with members of Congress since last year to defund the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Obviously, President Trump cut the funding for these grants last year, and the Biden administration has indicated at a recent press conference that they have no intention of sending money to the Wuhan Institute of Virology ever again. So that's good news, but we want to make sure that changes of administration, changes in Congress don't change the situation. So we're going to be making sure that these defunds are permanent to the extent that we can. We've already prevented any stimulus funds from going there, but there's been a stunning lack of accountability and transparency about how much money has been spent and sent to the Wuhan Institute of Virology and what exactly was done with it.
And as you mentioned, you had conversations with Senator Joni Ernst, who's calling for a federal investigation into spending transparency violations by EcoHealth and other institutions receiving taxpayer funds. What were those conversations like with the Iowa senator? What sort of developments can we expect to see moving forward?
So Senator Ernst, she's an outstanding leader on these issues. We even gave her our Waste Warrior Award last year for her A+ work to increase transparency about federal spending. Not only has she filed this complaint asking for an investigation from the HHSIG, but just yesterday she reintroduced her bill, the COST Act, the Cost, Openness, and Spending Transparency Act, which would hold labs like EcoHealth accountable for not disclosing the amount of money they're spending on these projects. So it would codify in law these transparency rules, but also allow the White House Office of Management and Budget to withhold funding from a facility like EcoHealth that failed to disclose the amount of money it was sending to Wuhan.
Mm-hmm. And especially all this money is going to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China. And China, there's been so many human rights violations, and they've participated in so many different cover-ups. So it really has Americans concerned about why we're sending money over there, and now our own labs here in the U.S. if we want to investigate viruses and that sort. Lastly, where can our viewers go to learn more about your watchdog group?
People can visit whitecoatwaste.org on the web or White Coat Waste in any of the major social media platforms. Not only can they see what we're doing, but you can write your members of Congress to support the bill to defund EcoHealth, to defund the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and support our work with Senator Ernst to improve transparency about taxpayer spending generally.
Again, the Vice President of Advocacy and Public Policy at White Coat Waste, Justin Goodman, thank you so much again for your time.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Want to see more videos like this? Visit OANN.com for immediate access to all the clips you've been waiting to see.